Welcome, everyone, to an adventure in Orland. Tonight, we are joined by our intrepid group of adventurers. And as always, I am the Haven Master, your guide for the evening. As always, we'd like to start this out with a little bit of introductions. So tonight, we'll go ahead and we'll start out with you, Mr. Serby.
What's up? I'm Serby. I am playing Dracry Turler, investigator extraordinaire, with his 40 passive investigation.
Obligatory reminder. Got
Yep.
it.
Hmm.
All right, we also have the lovely Miss Dutchy.
I am Dutchy, and I am playing Saravine Varalight, who is now the ultimate head honcho head of the Order of Tethos, and very goal focused.
Wahahaha.
I did miss something last time.
Oh, you missed a lot, my friend. We'll go over it in the recap here in a minute or two. All right, we also have our homebrew extraordinaire, Mr. Tormy.
Hello, everyone. My register is going to be a little bit lower this week because I'm slightly sick, but I play Junker, James Ulysses Nathaniel Kane Ezra Remington III. I fucked things up and I repair them the best I can.
And
Usually.
almost turned into crunchy weakborn.
Did we ever come up with a name for our pet?
Oh,
Yeah.
for the purple or for the
80 Sapphire Dragon?
yes, Alcer.
Alter?
Alcer.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce Alster too then.
Alster is an wow, my brain just keeps freezing on this. Um
She is a young
he's a
sapphire dragon.
he's
80
a
Sapphire.
sapphire wormling and he is he hasn't been raised since a hatchling from by a dragon, so we're doing what we can. But we freed him from a black market.
And our final player joining us for the evening, but certainly not the least, the lovely Mr. Fenris.
Evening, everybody. I'm playing Thorin Longfang, the group's residential werewolf.
Now, before we dive in, we're going to give a little bit of a recap of the last session for Fenris, who missed the game. And for those of you watching, that way you're not confused, as last week's recording, unfortunately, decided to not work. So, in order to avoid confusion as to what's going on, we're going to fill you in. Last week on the Adventures in Orland, which would have been 2 days for our party, they had all met at the Everest ancestral home, where Killian, Caro, and Lucarius sat our party down for a meeting and informed our lovely little group of a few things. The first thing was that Lucarius was stepping down as Grand Master of the Order, and kind of just threw the role at Saravine unexpectedly. After that, they revealed some information on how best to possibly solve their current conundrum with creation which involves a lengthy ritual.
I mean,
to-
solves a bit of a word. I don't know if it's going to solve it.
Mwahaha. But it involves a bit of a ritual to basically take creation and separate it into its two main parts, Pathos and Astara, once again. And it also led to a bit of an inference that once this spell is complete, our three residential spellcasters may be used up. There was also talk of free Alar from his corruption. So,
Which
let's
has become
dive
step
in.
one.
That is step one, yes. Step one's going to be the biggest difficulty for you. Anyways, let us dive into the world of Orland once more as we return to Everest Manor. When last we left off, our party had gone their separate ways in the manor to go figure out exactly what it is they themselves needed to do. Fenris, as you were not here in the last session, we're going to give Thorin a bit of catch up. So, you have been here for a week now, you and your party. As I don't think he'd been to this manor before, I will describe it for you. It is a
You described at the end of the last session that I was in. You described us arriving at the manor, and I had a discussion with Lucarius at the bar.
Oh, that's right.
yes, you did. One moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
The
Apologies.
DM went quiet, and then they all realized that that was the moment they had fucked up.
We're all gonna die.
Yes, apologies. Doggo is sleeping at the foot of the bed and had a weird dream, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so I don't have to re-describe the manor again.
We're all gonna die.
So, Thorin, as
Mm-hmm.
I said, you have been here for about a week. You would have taken part in the meeting and all, but outside of that, what have you been up to? What is it you have done with your time as your group makes their plans to save the world?
Ish.
Yeah, ish. Um, Essentially, he is his time has been spent uh keeping his skills sharp, um, wherever he can find a space to do so, whether that be a training room within the manor or outside of it.
Okay.
And then any sort of research he can accomplish into the potential whereabouts of the final artifact. Well, the other artifacts that they were told about. I think we added an extra one, so there's not just one left, there's two.
Correct. All right. Fair enough. As you all go about your day, You all receive a note. And this note is addressed to each of you from, and it says, preparations are almost complete. Please join us in the dialogue as we discuss next steps. Junker.
Yep.
You are the first to receive your note. What is it you are currently up to? And how quickly do you act upon this information?
I'm probably in the middle of going back to research those books that we took from before, where I was learning about souls and rituals and other things that were important to getting Alar's problem back under control.
Very well. Like I said, how quickly are you reacting to the information in the note? Or well, invitation, I should say.
I take my time packing things back up, putting them into my coat, and tossing some rations towards Alistair, going in Draconic to him. It's time we go on. We've been invited to go do something. You up for it?
Alistair just kind of looks at you with his eyes and gives out a little trill and then just nods and kind of like dog knows they are out to go on a trip outside. Just goes and turns in a little circle and then just sits patiently waiting for you. With that, as you pack up and get your things together and everything, and head towards the dining room, you pass a door that's giving off a heavy feel of magic. And as you're passing it, you realize that this must be the upstairs library that was referred to, that Caro, Killian, and Lucarius sequestered themselves in to prepare. And you can tell just from the magic, you can feel that whatever spell or ritual it is that they have prepared, it is quite powerful. Possibly on the level of reality changing.
Oh, good.
Saravine, what is it you are currently doing?
Bless you.
Sneezing. Same type of thing. Researching the soul problem and how to fix it. And when she gets the note, she's gonna grumble a little bit just because broken focus and all that. And then collect her things and head over.
Okay. Head to the dining hall. The little voice returns to you. You can do this, cleric. You can do this, my child. Most faith in you. Go. Be successful, for will be. And then just like that, it's gone again. Drakri, I assume you are still surrounded by your piles of books.
Of course he is.
All right. Well, you receive the same note as everyone else. And as this note gets to you, which particular book are you reading? Are you still reading your histories of forgotten gods?
Yes.
All right.
Wait,
Well,
it's
in
been
that
it's been
instance,
it's been a week. No. But he was still looking at
well,
histories
you've been
of
there.
gods.
It's been about 2 days since you found the book itself.
Okay, then yeah.
So, as you're reading through this book, you've gained an awful lot of knowledge on various gods and goddesses who no longer interact with the material plane but are believed to still exist. Whether it be the war god, uh, the gods of, fertility and fruitfulness, luck. But one god in particular seems to have caught your attention. The god Cronus, god of time. There seems to be more information in this book about him than there is any other deity that you've ever heard of.
Wait, I made a note and he starts patting his pockets and
that
finds
comes
his
quick for me.
uh finds his little notebook that he had written in to do some research on chronomancy.
Yes. Okay.
And does it this talk about this god and chronomancy?
This is the god of time. Some say he is the being that introduced chronomancy to the world. But only on a basic level, nothing too reality affecting, nothing major. But it goes on to tell you that there were a few individuals over the course of history who were considered to be Cronus's champion of sorts. And they had access to things that would rewrite the past. And
Does it mention any names?
not actual names, more like pseudonyms. Things like the trickster or the gunslinger, things of that nature. More titles than anything.
Got you. Oh yeah, I got a summons. I should probably deal with that. As
Oh, wait, I've got to go do a thing.
he
As
takes his
you
book with him again.
as you are exiting this library and you pass through the door, you feel a slight twinge in the back of your mind as a voice starts to kind of whisper to you. Nothing really intelligible just yet, but you can definitely tell it's saying something. And
It's not
as
creepy.
hey, just be glad I'm not introducing the floating pair of eyes again. As it kind of fades from your mind, you arrive at the dining hall with your companions already there, and you go and take your seat. Thorin, you, my friend, based on what you have told me you would have been doing this entire time, are out in a courtyard with the Master of Arms, training in sword combat and martial hand-to-hand things, and just overall fine-tuning some of your skills. When the note reaches you as well. Gnome tickling? Lovely. And as you take the note, the Master at Arms just kind of looks at you and he goes, "Well, looks like you've been summoned. Best get going. We'll continue this later." Are you there?
I was giving you my best stuff on mute. Thorin takes the note and looks over at the Master of Arms. I suppose you're correct. I appreciate your time, and I will take you up on that offer of continuing later on. Thorin gives him a bow of respect, and then collects his stuff, slides his coat and hat back on, reaffixes the rest of his gear, and he will reattach the medallion around his neck that holds the symbol of of one of his patrons, and head back inside.
As you're walking back inside, you kind of notice that 1 minute you're out in this courtyard, and the next you're there in the dining hall. All your companions are gathered around the table. And then once you have all rejoined each other, you notice that Caro is the only one present. He welcomes you all, bids you all to have a seat and enjoy the display in front of you of fine meats and cheeses and things. And he then just lets out a small sigh and he says, "Well, preparations are complete. What's the plan? Shall we attempt the spell now, or do you
Saravine's gonna plop her
try and
notes on the table.
say that again?"
Saravine's gonna immediately plop her notes on the table.
Okay. He's gonna look and say, "I see you've been busy."
Step 1, we need to fix your father.
I see.
And she's gonna. You were supposed to let us know what the process was gonna be, so I don't know what the process is, but she's basically going to put down the information that she's collected and what the process would be in order for them to try to correct the issue at hand.
All right.
There will be no spells cast until this is complete.
Plus, from what everything's been said, the amount of power that's going to be needed to cast a spell, having your father around is just going to make it easier.
You're not wrong.
And even with my new toys, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that we'd be able to fix things in time. He has knowledge that most of us don't. So,
You've been around
Well-
for 2.5 millennia. That he does.
so with that in mind, getting him involved will help fix several problems all at once.
With any luck.
Or there's always the pessimistic look of it, of if we fail at that, then we've fucked everything up past to the point where we can do anything. So, it's both our
Serving just
best.
blinks.
It's our best and worst
Hmm.
option.
So you should have cast mending.
She mumbles something about, I wish I could cast mending on your mouth.
I mean, you can.
Caro,
It won't do much.
Caro then just looks at all of you. He sighs. If you're going to do this, and that's a big ask, you do realize you're going to have to go to him, right?
Saravine
No.
just kind of puffs up. We're going to do it.
Very well.
Don't need to go to him.
No, we technically don't. We have one thing.
He wants.
Yes, we do.
We can make a show of going to look for other things that they're specifically looking for.
I mean, technically, we are going to look for it anyway, but
Aye.
so what you're thinking is we should go and look for this other piece, and hopefully that draws him to us, so we can execute the plan.
And in that direction, at the very least, if that technically fails, we haven't lost any ground either.
Answer
He-
me
We could
this.
have another artifact.
Aye.
Answer me this. How do you all intend to capture him?
Oh, that's
How-
easy.
How good is your father with interdimensional travel?
And all the songs in my head.
Let's just say you're looking at how good he is. And he just gestures to the manor around you. This is technically its own dimension, made by him.
Oh, goody.
I'm not talking about the construction or maintenance of. That's a different thing. Being able to transverse between the two, or between one plane and another, is a different set of magical circumstance.
The wards we placed are the only thing keeping him from being able to come here.
That is the thing that I needed.
He's quite good at it. Some would say he is partially responsible for teaching dimensional manipulation to others and this widespread use of it. So, by all means, if you have a way of shutting that down and getting past his onslaught of magic, you very well may it off.
I just need.
You know, I was just getting to this part in my book.
Oh,
I still don't know. I still don't know about this magic stuff. It's still too new to me. But
Well,
it's talking about Cronus.
time travel, time manipulation. I see. I trust you have an idea as to how you might implement this.
Not a fucking clue. Like I said, I just got to this spot in my book when you summoned me down here. So I haven't had time to actually research it yet.
I see.
But can what was that called? And he starts patting his pockets again and pulls out his little notebook. Would chronomancy help? Could it freeze him in time long enough for us to perform this ritual ceremony, whatever we need to do?
If you had a strong enough caster,
Wheels turning.
I mean, if I can get close enough to him, I can shut him down.
I stopped him once.
I was just about to say, how did that work out for us last time, Thorin?
Yeah, except for last time, I didn't have access to keeping his mouth shut, and I do now. You can't cast most spells if you can't speak the words for them.
Well, that's not necessarily true. There are some who can cast without speech.
I'm sure you've all realized by now that my father has a flair for the dramatic. He doesn't need speech or really hand movement at all to cast. Just is a fan of putting on a show.
Then why don't you explain to us how you think the best method would be to go about catching your father?
As I said, if you had a strong enough caster, the chronomancy would probably be your best bet.
How strong of a caster?
I must research it more. And Jackery gets up and walks out, heads back to the library.
For over the table, technically, about the. It's a level 9 spell for time stop.
That only buys you 24 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He
And we're
Kara
at
just
level what?
There's a different point about this, though. With the right materials and him shut down for even just a few moments. We saw back in the black market several creatures that would have the innate ability to cast were just completely shut down. There are items specifically built for that. The right materials, I could do it.
What sort of materials do you need?
It would need to be at least 10 times stronger than an ordinary slave collar.
I wasn't talking about the sleeve collars. Get a dampening field on that, please.
Can't
And
cast.
some
There is no magic to cast with.
aye,
I see.
and well, actually, easier to show than tell. One moment, he pulls out a pair of rocks that are about 2 feet across and fairly cubic. Places them about 15 feet apart. I'll be right back. As he folds into his own coat, and a minute later, he steps out from between those two stones. If you're ready, you can check out what I poured all of that energy into building just last week. These might actually help us.
Caro is now leaning forward, hands folded together, looking intently and he locks eyes with you, and you just hear in your head, proceed.
Well, if he steps between the two stones, he steps into a space inside my coat.
I have a question
The
for you. Oh, sorry, Torvin, go
entropy,
ahead.
the entropy engine, or the entropy conversion engine is on one side. The magic siphoning still is on the other, and he is trying to set the array of energy conversion lenses on one of the sides of the, lack of a better term, room.
As he's just kind of looking around, he's just like, intriguing.
Tyler,
Yes.
looking all this time at Caro, is it really Caro?
Yes.
Okay, let's say I have true sight, so I would know.
They also put up mad wards right after we got here.
Yeah, and the order was supposed to be, protected and guarded and stuff like that too. I'm just checking.
Yeah,
Fair.
but the order's wards were nothing like this.
I'm just checking. He played as Carl before.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Best to be safe.
He points over to the magic siphoning still. This is more used for ley lines, but your father is about as strong as a weak ley line on his own, and he's mobile. If we could get him pinned in spot long enough, we could just take the energy out of him. And as far as his destructive output, just points at the massive machine, the entropy conversion engine. That takes destruction, turns it into creation. I've seen his destruction. It's massive. Imagine if it just got turned into potential for creation.
He just looks at it and then looks at you and he says, "Can you demonstrate?"
Before I ask you to do it, what is the strongest destructive magic you know?
He, for a moment, have have you been witness to the White Nova spell?
I have not.
Yeah, that's the spell that Alar hit us with.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Then um let me get behind the machine and set it. And then you aim anywhere in the vicinity of that engine. You'll see exactly what it does.
All right. Now, mind you, it's nowhere near as strong as my father's, but after years of seeing him use it, I thought learning it might prove advantageous for myself at some point.
And actually, this will help with what I was going to talk about, or what I was just talking about for the materials. If you output enough raw damage, it might actually produce what I'm looking for.
I see. He
Ooh.
holds his hand directly at the machine. He just says, "Whenever you're ready."
Give me about 30 seconds. That's all I'll need. He rushes to the other side of the machine. He turns a few dials. There's some button pushing, and then suddenly steam starts coming off of it as the engine kicks into gear. Whenever you're ready.
He closes his hand and points just a single finger. And without saying more than a few words in a very ancient tongue, you see a little ball of light form at the edge of his finger, or at the tip of his finger, probably no bigger than a grape.
Right. This is the spicy meatball I ate. That was terrible.
And he just goes, "You may want to step back just a bit."
I'm safer next to the machine than I am away from it.
And he goes,
Aravine gets a little closer to the machine.
and then he just lets go of the energy, and in the blink of an eye, goes from the tip of his finger and strikes the machine directly. And the moment it touches the metal, white light just envelops this machine.
Does the effect of the machine go off?
It does, um, but the white light just envelops the machine, and you can feel the heat coming off of this spell. Doesn't damage you, but the effect of the machine does go off. So I will let you, Tormy, describe this effect, as it is your creation.
What was the level, the quote-unquote spell slot level for that?
In 5e mechanics, it wouldn't be able to go higher than a 9, but for the sake of the game, it's actually about a 13th level spell.
Okay. That is so that I know how much is coming out of this machine.
Okay.
800 pounds of mithril, 800 pounds of adamantine, and 800 pounds of uh Come on, my brain just stopped. Orichalcum appear as raw materials between the machine and the caster. In like solid brick form.
I'm just picturing Minecraft blocks.
Think more like the bricks that you get that you would see in any film depicting Fort Knox.
Oh, gotcha. Caro just kind of looks on and he starts clapping. And he goes, I'm impressed. That machine would be very dangerous in the wrong hands. I trust you know to keep it safe.
Oh, trust me, unless we're facing creation himself, I'm not taking this out of my cloak at all.
Very well.
And in fact, the amount of you supplied me with pretty much everything else I need. I just need some enchanted ink and a day or two. Actually, it's your father. Make it 3. No kill like overkill.
Fair enough. I'm sure we can find you your ink. He then just gestures.
She's gonna lean over and she's gonna lean over to Junker. Can't kill him.
Oh no, it's not. The no kill like overkill is I want to be able to shut down anything that uses the arcane.
He just nods. As long as you know. Can't kill him.
Are you going
Leave
to
him.
make it a field generator type thing that he has to enter, or are you going to make it a thing that we can affix to him so he personally cannot do anything?
Still working the plan in my head? Can I get back to you on that?
Fair enough.
But that's what I've got. Don't know what else anybody else has.
At the moment, it seems I'm nothing more than muscles, so.
Junker holds up an arm and goes, "Oh yeah, muscles so unuseful." Looks at the almost concaved muscle on his arm.
I didn't say I couldn't be useful. I'm just saying my idea that I had isn't going to work.
Seravine's going to nod at Junker. I think that'll work. But once we've got him neutralized, then we're gonna need to work on the corruption.
Aye, and I think you've been doing as much research on that as I have.
Tyler?
Doo-doo-doo. Let's see, where was it? Where was it? Notes, notes, notes. Here we go. Hold on, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for that quick little break there, but the world never stops revolving, so I have things I have to take care of as the big boss at work. Anyways, back into the story. When we left off, we had witnessed the power of the entropy conversion engine. 800 pounds of mithril, orichalcum, and what was the other material? Adamantite?
Yep.
Yeah.
The things I let you make concern me sometimes, Tormy.
Fabulous.
I've
Anyway.
yet to truly abuse them.
Yet. One day I'm just going to come up with a session to where I let you guys just run freaking wild and abuse the crap out of everything because you're going to need to.
You've already done that.
More so than the last. Anyways.
I like running amok.
Tormy, check your DMs.
Muck. That just popped into my head.
Duh.
Anyways.
We're
Okay.
also kind of overthinking this. I mean, there is a fairly potent spell that most spellcasters don't want to use.
And what might that be?
Anti-magic field?
Is there one among you who know it?
No, but sure there's a scroll somewhere.
You wouldn't happen to have a scroll from your shop available for purchase, would you?
At the mention of the word purchase, Caro's eyes just kind of light up, and he grins, and he goes, "My fine lupine friend, of course I do."
Mm-hmm.
And
Man.
what sort of price would we be looking at?
And please keep in mind, we're doing this to help save your life. Big smile.
And fix your father and what have you.
I mean, granted, we are, as they are correct, we are working to free your father from something that obviously is being held against his will on. So you could, oh shit, I mean, you wouldn't hurt you to cut us a deal.
Different fact. It's not like we're not repeat customers on a short scale.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Okay, so who's trying to make the persuasion check?
I am.
Okay, what'd you roll?
I'm sorry, Ty. 29.
What was the base?
Yeah, that's an at 20, buddy.
Caro just kind of looks at you, and he says, "I mean, you're not wrong. You are doing this for good reasons, for lack of a better term. I could cut you a 20% discount. That would take the
So,
price of the scroll to 28,000.
Seravine's gonna kind of tilt her head. I feel 30's probably more realistic to an even discount for what your benefit will be in this as well as ours.
Roll me your persuasion.
trying to add up discounts.
If she can get an 18, I'll raise it. I'll raise it to the 30% because that'll give her a 10%.
Shit. My dice is stuck in my dice tower. Hold on. Won't come out. There it is. Well, how does
It's like,
19
no,
go?
you're gonna hate me. What'd you get?
17 plus 2, 19.
You hit the 18, so He'll give you the 30, so give me a sec here.
That's 10,500 off the asking price.
It's like y'all didn't see me haggling.
So it would be 2450 or 24,500.
Yeah. And your haggling wouldn't have done any better, sir, because this is going off of the discount prices we have on the price guide.
It's different from being a slaver to being someone we consider a friend.
Yeah.
So-
It's different from being a slaver versus an actual merchant.
Very
And
much so.
technically, I didn't see you haggling.
Yeah, she wasn't with us.
Let's
Yeah,
just-
that's true.
Let's just put it this way, Dutchy. His original asking price was 8,000. Now ask him what I paid.
Don't ask me what he paid because I don't remember.
300.
Okay, there you go.
And then I had the bugbear kill the guy and got my 300 back. So technically,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't.
was gonna say the only thing I remember of that is the bugbear just continuously running back and forth across the island, murdering anything that got in its way. Until it
Yeah,
came
the
across
solution.
something stronger than it.
So what should the price be, Carol?
You make a fair point. You have to realize that I must make a profit as well. So 30% seems fair. That would lower it to 24,500.
I can do that. I will produce that amount of gold.
As you pull it out, he just holds out his hand and he says, "I trust you. Hold on to it for now." And you see him reach into his robe, pulls out a scroll. He opens it, and you can see that it's blank on both sides, and he just goes, "You wanted anti-magic?"
Yes.
Anti-magic field is an 8th level spell.
He takes his finger, and you see him start to inscribe the spell itself into the scroll with his finger. He rolls it up, and he offers it to you.
Take it.
Well, at this point, you all have returned to the table. You're all sitting down again. He says, "There's one other matter of business." He sets this little ornate box right in front of him. He opens it, turns it to face you all, and slides it forward. Inside, you see a silver ring, or a set of silver rings. He goes, "If you're going to be doing this, you'll need and a way out, to think of it. Each of these rings is enchanted. They will bring you here and take you where you want to go. They have each been keyed, I should say, to your particular energy. They will not work to to return you from any place but to here." And he hands you each a ring. And as you slip it on, it magically resizes fit your finger.
Okay.
Could at least made it pretty.
You want it pretty? Make it pretty. Yours can be pretty, Servine.
So is this something that I need to come up with?
Nah,
Is
not really. Just put in your notes. You've got like a ring of teleportation or whatever.
Okay.
Caro again looks at you all, closes the lid, and he says, "Well, you best be off to find your friend. Sounds like you have a lot of work ahead of you. I will again be in the upstairs library if needed. Don't hesitate to ask." And he gets up and exits the room.
Okay. I have another idea that I'm going to pursue. While you work on your device, Junker, I need to go see Drakery.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything specific?
Is there any prep work that Seravine's gonna need to do?
You've done all the prep work you can at the moment.
Okay.
The first banner.
Okay. So, Thorin, since you're going to go visit Drakery, you wander your way to the library and you find him just in his little tile nest of books that he's made himself, reading. What are you doing?
I'm going to pull up a chair to the end of the table near him, but not exactly next to him.
Okay.
Drakery, can I pull you away for just a second?
That one, and points at a stack of books.
Okay. Take the book and open it. What book did you point out?
This would be well, as soon as he came back to the library, he immediately went and looked for other books on Cronus and chronomancy and brought them back to the table.
Okay. Doo-doo-doo.
And he pointed you to a book on Cronus.
This
No.
is the god you were mentioning downstairs.
Yes.
I might have a way to circumvent what Kara was talking about needing a high caster to perform the chronomancy. It's a long shot, but it might work.
What?
While you guys were off breaking things,
Hey, Hey, no, nope, nope.
Okay, I will rephrase that. While they broke things and you told them to mend it,
Okay.
I used one of the items that I bought before everything started going down allowed me to request aid from a higher power without breaking the laws of them directly intervening, which is what I use to help me mitigate some of the damage done to the town.
Yeah, I thought I saw something like that.
You might
did-
have. Um, if I can learn enough about Kronos, I may be able to do something similar and get us what you were looking for and talking about stopping time around Alar.
Exactly, that book.
Okay. I am going to crack the book open and begin to
There
basically
was
help.
one other thing that it doesn't matter anymore. Go ahead.
Um, was that over the table or in character?
In character.
It kind of gives you a puzzled look.
He's already back reading the book that's in front of him.
So Thorin is going to crack this book open, and he is going to read the book about Kronos enough to familiarize himself with the god itself, just so that it is known to him. Basically, he knows his name and his domain, so to speak. Just a deeper insight to whatever the book can give him.
Okay, give me an insight check.
And I just made up a book that Tyler probably didn't intend for us to have.
Actually, no. You were right along my line of thinking.
Insight?
Yeah.
Okay. 23.
As you're reading this book, you begin to absorb the knowledge. You begin to learn things. The first thing that really stands out, though, is Cronus is one of the few deities who has rarely, if ever, interacted with the mortal plane after his initial contact. He seems to be a very standoffish deity.
Oh, by the way, if you find anything in there about Cronus's champions, let me know. He goes back to reading his book.
As you're continuing to read, you feel a small twinge in the back of your head as whispers that aren't really intelligible start to be heard. And as you're reading, they just slowly grow just a bit louder. Still not really able to make out what they're saying. But as you continue to read, you also learn that there are circumstances in which mortals have been able to entreat him to lend aid, such as when he's felt the need that something has gone wrong with time itself.
Does it state as to what they may have entreated him with?
It does not.
Chocolate bars.
I mean, sure, who doesn't love chocolate?
I mean, I got a Kit Kat right here. We'll help him out real quick.
Hi, help us. I'll give you a Kit Kat.
Not a Snickers.
We'll give you as much candy as you want.
This right here is the beginning
in
of
a-
Halloween.
White
Yeah,
panel
there you
van.
go. Congrats, your party has created Halloween. Anyways, as you continue
Best
reading,
party ever.
as you continue reading, you find things that intrigue you, such as the first being to ever, the first mortal, I should say, to ever learn chronomancy was named a champion of Cronus as being one of his most devout followers. And how he learned chronomancy is even detailed. It's said to have been taught to him through study and prayer, and that he learned it slowly over time. That it took years and years of effort for him to learn it and master it. And then, after this individual left the mortal plane, a couple centuries passed, and then another champion arose. Though this champion was not for good, but for evil. And it's believed that this champion is the cause for something that may have happened, but was then corrected, and so was lost to history, and the memories of it exist only in the mind of those who are A, old enough to have been there, and B, magically adept enough to remember the changes.
Okay.
Anything else you're wanting to know?
Does it state in there when it mentions about a possible outcome that had been fixed? Does it state that that is the reason why he may be standoffish?
It does. Specifically, that is the reason. And having seen the mistake of granting his blessing to this mortal, he decided to not interact with mortals ever again, except in the most dire of circumstances.
You get one little fight and your god gets scared.
His power. Evil.
So what's next?
Um,
Over
Balls of your court.
over the table. Are you alerting me to any of that?
not at the moment. I will, but I have a plan for how I'm going to do that. I am going to continue to read this book.
Okay.
And see if I can glean anything else.
What specifically are you trying to learn?
Anything that might give me an edge up when seeking assistance from this being.
You come across a passage that says, "Those who have sought Cronus before have very rarely met with success. But to those who have, it is believed that piety is the most viable way of gaining his aid."
Okay. Um. Okay. And going further, does it is there any entries that detail what his what sort of like traditions his followers might have once performed?
It does not.
Okay.
It does tell you, though, that there were no specific traditions outside of being pious.
Okay. And is that pretty much all I will glean from this book?
Yes.
Okay. As he finishes with the book, he opens it back up to the passages about the champions and the one bad champion, and takes the book and sets it right on top of the book that Drackery is currently reading. Opened up.
The
There.
The champions are the first thing you see, Drackery.
And it just talks about the dark one. Does it
It-
mention any of the other ones that I've read about yet?
It does not. It lists these two as being the prolifically known. And it
Wait,
goes,
two.
Yeah, there was the one that basically gained chronomancy through religious prayer and devotion to Kronos, and in doing so became his champion. After a series of, learning and study and prayer and all that stuff, it was taught to him. He became that was the first champion mentioned, and then you had the second champion mentioned, who was a force for evil and caused an event that might have happened that was corrected, which was the reason that Cronus took a step back from everything.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, can you blame the guy?
No, I can't. But here's the thing, it also states further in that those who have sought aid rarely succeed, but those who have succeeded, it was through piety that they were able to gain the connection.
Yes. Yes, Tormy. That's how we're gonna do it.
Okay, so we need to find out more about his rituals, and I think I saw that book. And he
This
starts
book
shifting.
doesn't this book doesn't mention anything about rituals or traditions.
Yes, but I think I picked up one when I was looking through things earlier, and he's shifting piles and looking through, and he gets up and walks around the table to a pile he can't reach. Starts searching through those. I swear I saw it.
As you're digging through all these books that you have, you find the book you're looking for. This book is titled Rituals and Traditions of the Various Deities of Orland.
Ah, and I hand it to Thorin. That one.
Okay. I am going to crack this book open. I am going to thumb through until I hit if there is a portion of this book that has Cronus in it.
You flip about halfway through,
Oh,
and
I was
go ahead, Serby.
I was gonna ask, did I find anything else of use in my Forgotten Gods book?
You did, and we'll get into that in just a second.
All right.
As you're flipping through this book, Thorin, through, and then you catch sight of a couple words. So you stop, you start reading them, and you see once again a pinned or a note written in and this note simply reads out, Cronus being one of the more mysterious gods who have existed is not one to easily attract his attention. But with these books that have been assembled in this library that have taken centuries to find, hopefully, whomever is reading this finds the aid they need.
Centuries. It took me like 5 minutes.
Alar Everest.
I see. And is this a penned note on that page, or is it like a sticky note stuck to the page?
It is a separate sheet of paper that has just been tucked into the center of this book.
Okay. And I'm guessing there are no descriptions as far as traditions and rituals.
Oh,
Uh,
well, I wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Apologies. Apologies.
You're good. As you pull this page out, you see just the start of what is pages upon pages of rituals and traditions and things of a magical nature, all centered around Cronus. But as you're reading through them, it seems like each break in the paragraph before you find another is the next one you find is from a different culture. Like one ritual will talk of nothing but being prayerful and constantly just asking for intercession. And then the next is offering up a portion of your remaining life to Cronus, as in you are sacrificing your own time to the god. And then there are the traditions that you find of worshiping him. Things like constantly marking the passage of time somewhere upon your body, or erecting sundials and watches of that nature, and constantly keeping watch over them. There's even one tradition where anyone who is out past a certain hour is considered a heretic and disrespectful of the flow of time and nature, and when one should normally be resting.
Yeah, go
So, yep.
fuck yourself.
So there you go.
I'm going to first hand Drackery the note that was written by Alar, and then show him the pages of traditions and stuff.
I mean, are you really surprised at finding notes from Alar? I mean, it is his library.
No, I'm not.
Drackery is already annoyed with Alar as it is. You don't know what he did to this book yet.
In that sense, let me see something. This book doesn't look to have any sort of illusions cast upon it, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay. And as I was reading the second set, did that ping happen again?
It did, but it was at about the same volume that it was before.
When it happens, I'm going to Thorn just kind of sits there for a moment and looks up from the table. And I'm gonna look past this plane into the ethereal to see if there's anything around us.
There is not.
Okay. It seems there are talks of timekeeping devices that were erect to in worship and keeping them as a form of
Honor.
yeah, thank you. My brain pooped.
I figured.
As a form of honor towards Cronus. But in this passage here, it talks about apparently one culture decided that offering some of your remaining time as a way of paying rights to him was another method that could be used.
So you think you could use your talent? What did you say it was?
It's so basically what we're seeing here is all rituals and traditions used in the
Yes,
worship of him, and that would be a way to establish a contact after perhaps a certain amount of time. What I have access to is a potential circumvention to the long-standing time needed to perform these rites and traditions. And I'm not saying it's going to work. It's a long shot, especially after what might have happened according to that tome there, and his withdrawal from everything.
I still think we need to keep looking into it a little more.
I'm not saying we don't.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I have the potential to circumvent the stuff, but that may not be an answer. You seem to be gathering a lot of knowledge here from the books, and that itself could be paying your respects to Cronus in its own right.
I I genuinely want to know more about this god. I mean, you know me, I'm a curious person as it is.
Right.
Any information that I can get for us that will help us or improve our odds of going forward, I'm gonna do it. That's
Tyler,
Yeah.
in these books that we've been going over and the stuff that we are reading, it Kronos being the god of time, he is still underneath creation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we would, because we know that creation is basically uh, the the head of everything.
Yes.
are you going to say something about this too directly?
About
Creation and Kronos?
I'm getting there. Um, my thought process on this is if we could, you're looking in a way to get his assistance to help us with the Alar situation.
Not
Not
no.
just, but it is a viable option if we were able to acquire the assistance.
Yes. Yeah.
Helping us with the Alar situation would only be able to help us with the problem we have with creation. And the ritual that
The
Caro
way
and
so the way that I look at it is the more we know about the person or the god or whatever we're working on. Right now, we're working on Kronos and chronomancy. So the more I can find out about Kronos, the more knowledge I have later when we need it.
right. But in the book it states that he only usually intervenes in matters that he deems of utmost immediate importance. If creation were to reset everything, that would affect him.
Yes, it would remove everybody's time that they had remaining, and that's
not
Yeah.
necessarily a good thing for him. I'm thinking we could use that.
I still need to know more, though. I still need to know
You
more.
keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
You keep researching, and I've got enough from what I've gathered to know this god enough to where, if needed be, I could attempt this. And then, as you have countless times before, whatever you find, you'll end up sharing with us anyway.
Well,
Because the more people that know stuff, it's, it makes that knowledge more useful. But I think you working on this aspect and learning what you can, I can come up and assist every as needed. Um, but I'm not necessarily one to keep my nose in a book for an extended period of time unless something has hit, and I've got another idea as well that I want to work on.
um, Trackery picks up the note, Alar's note, and sticks it in the book where he's at, and then flips back and turns it around and shows it to Thorin. What you're seeing is this book of forgotten gods that I've been studying, where it's
Mhm.
talking about creation being Pathos and Istara and how they were split. And as it's fixing to tell us how the process is done, the next 5 pages are ripped out of the book. Basically, the next page says, and that's how it was done.
I see.
And
You all said Astara was locked in that crystal.
yes,
Was that perhaps... I wonder if that was perhaps part of the ritual to keep them separated.
yes. She was locked in that gem on that end of the ley line. She powered the ley line.
Also begs the question, why her instead of Pathos? But that's, I guess, something that can be discussed when we fix this.
She's kind of the trickster of the two.
More so than Pathos.
She tricked us into freeing her from the, well, Jim tricked them into releasing her from the gym.
I said
Well,
cast mending.
hopefully, Saravine and Junker are able to figure out more in regards to this ritual.
But here's the other thing. He casted a spell on this book so it could not be mended. So he tore that out of the book and then made sure that no one could ever get that information from that book ever again.
Hmm. So, what that means to me is that we're on the right path, at least, to getting him first, because he will be the only one with that knowledge.
Exactly. That's why I'm studying as much as I can, trying to
Okay.
find out everything I can, because there could be something, and all we need is that one hint that pushes us in the right direction. One slip up, someone wrote something they didn't really intend to write, that tells us how to deal with the situation.
Okay. Well, you
Loose
keep
lips
doing.
still sink ships.
Or in this case, split a god.
Yeah.
All right, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna go try something a little different for a little while. See if I can't get a little bit more knowledge on some things.
Jackery pulls the book back over, flips back, pulls the note out from where he was in the book, and keeps reading.
Okay. Now, as you're continuing to read this book, you get to a point where it gives you, like I said, the titles of all of Cronus's champions. As of right now, I actually don't have all of those. I will get them to you when you actually need them, but you learn who they were, how they became a champion, and things of that nature. Furthermore, you also learn that there is on another continent of the world a temple that has stood since essentially time immemorial, dedicated to Cronus. And it is believed that it is still maintained, for lack of a better term, to this day, and that there are still followers residing in this temple.
Does it mention where?
Yes, it is. It doesn't give you a name, but it essentially tells you it is a continent across the sea, far to the north.
Jackery reaches into his bag and pulls out the satchel and starts combing the maps, especially the ancient maps.
As you're looking over, you see far, far to the north, almost at the planet's pole, a continent that has one city on it listed. a city by the name of Idran.
Spell that for me.
Eidran.
Any other information?
Nope. When you flip the page, it goes to talk about a different god.
All right. I'm gonna kind of flip through the rest of the book to see if it goes back to any other gods that I would want information on. And if not, then I will find the next book.
Okay. Well, we're going to let you do that. And as we do, we're going to go to Junker. Junker, what are you currently working on?
The starting stages of building effectively anti-mage cuffs.
Oh,
It takes a lot of material to make what is effectively just 2 bracelets.
I see that.
Hmm.
I mean, especially if these bracelets are freaking orichalcum, adamantite, and mithril.
And the ink that he requested is basically just so that there can be the correct runes on the outside without
Fair.
him having to actually like take an extra day, and it's either the ink or an extra day worth of time to engrave those in, one or the other.
Fair enough.
Definitely engrave them. It'll be more potent.
We can ink them for now, and then if we have a travel period, they can always be engraved.
I mean, yeah, you can literally just let him sit inside of his coat for the day if you're doing physical travel.
Yep.
But yeah, he's kind of like your average ADHD kid. He is hyper fixated on this task. He may need reminding to eat and or sleep.
He should have some quickling dust left.
No,
He used it
he
all up.
he used it all to get through all of the energy of a uh half of creation powered ley line. He took all of that power and put it into making 4 things. He needed to be able to do that at a ridiculous amount of time at a ridiculous pace. So, yeah. No, he's got none of that left. I burned a lot of resources to get those things done.
Okay. So this is where she has. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, we're gonna take a quick little time skip. It has now been 3 days. Y'all are back in the dining hall, gathered around the table. It's just you guys at this point.
One thing, during the 3 days that we jump, Thorin has been actively conversing or trying to converse with Thunder.
Oh, okay.
And it's just simply seeking guidance.
Well, if that's something you two want to role play out, by all means, go right ahead.
What's your action for reaching out?
I'll first let me ask this. Tyler, is there any um
Hmm.
there wouldn't happen to be any roadborne shrines around, would there?
Probably not.
And he's gonna make one. A rough
Okay.
one.
Hmm.
A real rough one. Mainly stones and some divine will, if you will. Um
Hmm.
Actually, let me check one thing before I say that's all he uses, because I can prepare spells each day as a paladin. No, yeah. It is yeah, no, it is literally it's literally just putting together a rough um shrine somewhat away from the manor, but not too far that he leaves the protective runes of the grounds.
Okay.
Unless he finds out that that would cause an interference with what he's trying to do, and then well, that's a different story.
No, it
Okay.
wouldn't interfere with anything.
So yeah, he's basically just spending time after he builds this thing. He just spends time kneeled next to it, um, just silently reaching out. The intent's there.
Not a cloud in the
And
sky. You still hear a rolling rumble from above.
kind of looks up with one eye. That's might be the sound I'm waiting for. Hoping. Let's see here really quick. Where did that? I just lost the page. Damn it. Back. This one here. Um. Okay, that does not. That does not pay mind to this. Can you hear me all right, big guy?
Another roll of thunder.
I'm gonna take that as a yes. I need a bit of guidance if you can sway it. Being to solve an issue and just want to make sure that we're going about this the right way.
You don't see him appear like the time that you talked to him last? You hear the voice, though. I can't step foot down there, but what is it you seek?
Knowledge, perhaps a direction. Um, I know your main focus is, well, from what I've understood, it's been mercenaries, but you seem to have a somewhat understanding of other things from the last time we spoke. We're looking to pick some issues the party seems to have found themselves in front of, and just, I don't know, guidance would be welcomed, but at this point, I really don't. I'm grasping at straws for any possible thing.
You have potent allies. You have strong conviction. You do have several potent problems to stand against.
Being lying if I said that wasn't a slight concern, more than slight, uh, more like end of the world problems. Yet again, are actually added on to the ones that we're also currently facing that seem to have just been put on the back burner.
In my mortal experience, once you hit a certain point in your career, either every problem becomes world ending, or nothing ever does again.
Yeah, that's
Take
fair.
take one at a time. No war was ever won on several fronts at the same time.
You're right. Perhaps it's just the overwhelming nature of it all that I let get to me. But
You have potent allies. No master of war, no leader of men has ever been all-knowing. They have the ears to listen to those that know better. I stood toe to toe, as you have said before, but I never would have been in front of her, if not for my colleagues, if not for my group.
Make a good point there. Thank you. In a roundabout way, I needed that.
You are the strength of your group. Let yourself be that. Let your companions take their strengths and apply. Never let them squabble too much. Mistakes happen, but they are things to be learned from. They are scars to carry you forward as a group. If you're meant to do great things together, teach each other, learn from each other, bleed with each other.
It seems we'll be doing a lot of that. Thank you. As always, you're quite wise. I'm not sure why you didn't take that as a domain.
You can only start with so many.
Fair enough.
And as you've seen in the world, the mercenaries have needed the most guidance of the purviews that I could have taken on.
That you are not wrong in. Well, until next time, friend.
You have things to think on, and you need to strengthen your left side.
You're not wrong there. So he's gonna stand up from the makeshift fuck, words. Help me out here, somebody. Shrine. That's the word. From the makeshift shrine, and he's gonna pull out a platinum piece and set it on top, and then walk back to continue his other tasks for the 3 days.
Okay. So, as I said, 3 days have passed. You are now gathered around the table with each other. What information do you all wish to share with your group?
What did not trying to, go back again to the prior 3 days, but you gave me Drackery and Junker some ability to do something. I don't think you touched on Saravine.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't. Saravine, what are you up to?
I mean, Servine's really focused on they got to get Alar there. She's focused on the after. Once he's there, what's got to happen?
Fair. As you know, you're sitting and you're thinking of this, focusing on it. That still small voice returns to you. I think you know what you have to do. She has been corrupted. Therefore, he may have been a champion once, but he is no longer. If the
Champion.
outcome you receive is not the outcome you desire, do not allow yourself to fall into despair.
Champion.
Do you not remember, my dear? He was in the original group.
Oh,
I considered them all champions.
but there has to be a way to cleanse him and bring him back.
Oh, there is. But as I said, do not allow yourself to fall into despair if the outcome is not what you desire.
She
He
has
will
kind of
fight you.
a resolute look. Failure is not an option.
He will fight you away.
Failure is not an option.
Steel your resolve, for this will be an arduous task for you to complete. More so, now that he has been with his staff. And then the voice just kind of fades. But unlike all the other times it's spoken to you, it leaves you with a bit of a warming feeling. You can feel your powers kind of blossoming a bit, growing stronger with your faith having been expressed. And though it may have been shaken, you did not let go. And for that you are being rewarded, knowing that Pathos's presence has not gone completely, and that there is, however small, still a chance for you to bring him back to the world. Now, you're all at the table. What information are you exchanging amongst yourselves?
I think I found Kronos' last temple.
One exists.
Yes. He pulls out the book and flips to it and slides it over to Saravine. So that talks about the final temple. And they're still keeping it up to this day. Or so we think.
Do we have
Then
any notion of where this location is?
and then he reaches in and pulls out the maps and pulls out one that shows that one little tiny island up near way, way, way up north with that one city on it. Eldrin City.
Hydrin.
Idrin City. That's what I get for trying to see those tiny little words.
I've never heard of it.
And I mean, the way the book talks about it and then finding that island, it just feels right to me.
We've just got to find where that island is.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to find where it is. You literally just got a map.
We would have to find someone to get us to that island.
Right.
And that would probably take a while.
Except for if I'm remembering correctly, when Caro gave us the rings, they will take us to where we want to go, but they will only bring us back here.
Oh, well, then
Oh, I thought it was just wherever we were, it would bring us back. I misunderstood that then.
And also, Drackery wasn't at the table when the rings were given to you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, that I was saying that mainly over the table to clarify because I wanted to make sure I heard you right.
You did hear me right. It's just Drackery wasn't at the table when the rings were given to you. So unless you gave
What-
one to him and explained it, he didn't know about them just yet.
what ring are you talking about?
Caro gave us rings. You went back up to the library. We have yours here.
Mm.
It's the way he had explained it, it's a ring of basically a ring of teleportation. It will get us to where we want to go, and as a way out, it will get us out of any said location we're at, but it will only bring us back here.
So we have to, if we can go wherever we want to, but we go there, we come back here, and then can go to a different location.
I'm assuming so. He
Okay.
didn't really specify on a number of uses. I'm assuming there may be some sort of time lag where we have to wait. But that we would have to take up with Carl a little bit more. But here's yours, and he'll slide Drackery's across the table to him.
Thank you.
Um,
So,
Like the others, it just magically resizes to fit you.
and he also said that these are linked to our individual magic or individual signatures, so they will not work for anybody else.
okay.
Um,
So, since we know where this island is, even though we only have a map, will this ring still work to get us there?
I'm assuming it wouldn't be without its risks, but it would probably beat trying to travel there the old-fashioned way. Um, but so if we go to this island, to this temple, what is the goal? Because the ultimate goal is to get Alar back and fix creation.
Uh, what better place to request a god's help than at his temple? Especially the only temple he has left on this
Yeah.
planet.
Okay.
Also,
And if anyone will know how to please him and reach him, it would be his followers.
Well, there's always a way around reaching them by following basis if you have the right means. But it's not necessarily something that will work every time. I'm just worried that we won't have enough time to actually appease him the way that the book stated.
isn't that ironic?
What books?
Rackery came across quite a few books in the library that talked about Cronus and various
Oh, and
traditions and
starts pulling
histories.
the books out and setting them in front of Saravine.
Some of the traditions spoke or rituals spoke of simple drastically as sacrificing some of your own time left on this plane to uh, as a payment or right as an offering. Some spoke of creating and keeping sundials and watch type devices or timekeeping devices as a way to honor him and pay homage.
She kind of tilts her head a little bit. These are rituals meant for specific requests, specific traditions, and specific ways of showing faith and honor to the god, but you don't necessarily need rituals, which is why it's
No,
important to talk to his followers, because that's your key, that's your direct path, are the people who have built their connection with this god, not faking a connection.
I'm definitely not talking about faking a connection. I literally want to know more about this god myself.
And even if we went to the temple and got in touch with his followers, if any remain, um, there's no guarantee that they are going to be able to contact him on our behalf. So we would still have to be the ones that make that connection.
But you're reaching his followers. That's how you reach a god. You reach through faith in him. They hold the faith.
Or magic.
That's how you go through.
I understand that point. What I'm saying is they will give us the keys to open the door, but there may not be time to actually open that door the old-fashioned way. Faith and piety take time to establish that connection. And Drakery is all for learning more and perhaps pursuing that path. That is fantastic. But at the end of the day, Alar and creation are what we are currently working towards.
You wish to reach out to Cronus for his help. I am just saying that reaching through his followers who hold his faith may be your quickest way of actually making the connection you need to make to reach the God you want to reach. From there, that is going to be a whole different conversation of how we plead our case and beg for the help that we need.
And I don't disagree with you. There is another option of reaching him besides his followers. But that is more of a payment-based contract than a faith-based one. And it wouldn't be so much of a direct not direct, it's indirect assistance from him via an underling of his that could potentially do what Drackery originally suggested about stopping time around Alar to give us time to to do what needs to be done to fix him. That is something we have in our back pocket. I'm not saying we don't try this avenue and see if we can't plead our case the old-fashioned way. By all means, I mean, we're going to need to try every avenue if we're going to hope to succeed in this.
What else have you learned of his followers and his teachings?
So um his followers, his first follower was someone who reached him through faith and piety and was eventually given chronomancy. The second one, uh, I forget how he was given his power. Um,
Correct.
but he was given his power, and ended up going bad and doing something that Kronos ended up having to fix himself and blames himself for that act. And that is why he kind of hides away from everybody.
She just kind of frowns. All the more reason we must be cautious how we approach him. Did you find anything else?
I have titles and names to some of his other champions, but I haven't really found a whole lot of information about them yet. That's kind of one of the reasons I want to go to the island, because surely their library on Kronos would be larger than anything we could think of.
Agreed.
Junker, how did your thing turn out?
His entire left arm is just covered in a fine dust that is silver and gold. I think it's gone fairly well. I tried testing them about an hour ago. They work fairly well, as he holds up both of his wrists that have the cuffs on them, and there's just a stick that is just slightly longer than 3-4 inches. The stick releases them, but doesn't work if you're the one that's bound by them.
Meaning you need somebody to take them off you.
Well, I figured this would be a good time to show. And he just kind of places that stick there, and you see him pull out a couple of... What spell can he try? You see him pull out like one of the very few coins that he does have on him. He puts it down on the table. Now try to send that flying over there. And he picks it up, puts it in his palm, and tries to cast Catapult. It doesn't move.
That looks to be
Now, if you would, and he holds both of his wrists out.
and so switch to hit.
You just touch the pillar to either of the bracelets,
Oh,
and
okay.
that one releases. Then the other one, still there, will, at a much weaker... It will dampen effects instead of outright negate them.
He'll touch the pillar to the two.
An unseen hinge kind of opens and lets them fall free from the wrist, and then as they hit the ground, hit the table, they reform their normal ring. So that, if you tap them to open them, or if say I tapped them to open them, then you use that scroll and I hand them to you, they're inert, but you can still close them. Once they're closed, you can break that distance and get them out of the zone of the effects of the scroll. And they'll activate again.
So essentially, no matter if I keep him in the anti-magic field or he is wearing those bracelets, he should be rendered powerless.
The basis of the entire exercise is if they have a physical form and they have any tie to any of the magics that I'm aware of, it should bind them within the physical form so they can't leave.
Perfect.
Meaning they can't actually be used for anything.
Okay.
That also affects any charms or enchantments that get placed upon them afterward.
Now, assuming this is just to keep them from casting spells, does it work for items that they are carrying?
They have no access to any magic.
Perfect.
or prayer.
I mean,
If it's not innate, it's not working.
well,
I can't take away. I couldn't put those on you and take away your curse. That's innate. But
we
I
go
can
with
take away your curse.
I'd pit it against some of the lesser gods.
he kind of looks to Drakery at that comment. I'd rather you not.
I mean, I can if you want. If you don't, no big deal.
It's less of a curse to me.
Hmm.
More of a part of who I am.
But
However, we go with that plan. I can definitely get him more than likely within the anti-magic field. Who would we have put the cuffs on him? Because the anti-magic field, unfortunately, I believe would be harmful to you.
aye. Which is why I'm saying, say I tap them to open them. And
I
or
get you.
Drakery taps them to open them. And then you use the scroll on yourself. Then you take them and rush him.
Okay. I misunderstood that just a little bit.
You're good. I do not want to be in that field when it goes up.
I don't want you in that field when it goes up because remember, whatever you feel, I take half of.
Would not work. That's a magical effect, my friend.
Technically, yes.
It
Is
turns
the
off
anti-mag?
the.
No, I
It
know, I
tur-
know. Is anti-magic field a centered spell?
It works specifically, or you trigger it on a person or an object, and then it travels with that person or object.
Okay. I was thinking anti-magic cone, which is completely it's similar but different shape. That's why my brain was
Yep. And that's why you were thinking about other options before.
mm-hmm.
As soon as you started thinking larger, I went to this because it fits everything else.
Just cast it. Just cast the scroll on a fucking coin and slip it in his pocket.
I
That'd be
couldn't do
fine.
that.
Um, no, that's okay. So we go to the island. We seek the assistance of Cronus. We have an idea for how we stop Alar. How do we get him to us? We know they've been hunting artifacts. Do we use what we have as bait? Do we seek out one of the others and use that not actually effectively say find it, but I don't think he would show up if we weren't actively finding it.
After we have things in place, I would say we go looking for the other artifacts that are still out there. That way, at absolute best, he finds us, we do this. At the next stage of worse, we get more of those artifacts out of potentially their hands.
Right. And by my count, I think there are 2 left that aren't accounted for.
Aye. The next phase of problem is, or the next phase of it being worse is we lose what we have in that fight, which
Yes.
effectively also very possibly means that the final step of it being worse, we all fucking die.
No. Yeah.
I vote no to that plan.
What, to dying?
Yes.
That's, I think, unanimous at this point. Um,
Aye.
so we have a general idea of how we're going to handle this. Is there any other information anybody else has gained? Servian, I know you were working on studying the ritual that's going to be needed. Did you learn anything?
Tyler?
Yes. You, during your 3 days, you happened to, seek out Caro, and he gave you a book on the rituals. So, you know exactly what to do. And as he's asking you that, the thought popped in your mind of just how arduous this task is actually going to be. Why are they covered in liquid cheese, though?
For those of you at home that don't know what's going on, I'm typing random things in just to make the rest of the people in this game question our life choices.
So, do we have specifics on the ritual, or is it just she knows the method and you're still working on the specifics?
The second option.
Okay, I figured.
I am leaning towards the skill check a thon for it.
Similar to the way that others have run it. So many successes before so many failures.
Yep. Essentially.
Not bad. um. So,
You know she had to jump in on that.
I mean, we have. Seems like we've got everything that we're going to find here. Anybody seeing Caro in them?
Upper library.
I have only really spent time either in my coat, in my room, or in the kitchen. That's it. I haven't seen anyone.
Fair enough. I'm pretty sure the Master at Arms got tired of seeing me these last 3 days.
The servant in the library brings all my meals to me. It's great.
Drackery's like, we need to invest in a personal butler.
I can tell you got all your meals brought to you and you made pillows out of books.
There is a bit of ink on your cheek.
I thought that was just a crease and a shadow from an indention.
It was the edge of the book.
All right.
Dedication.
So, guys going to go to the upper library, or are you just heading out on your little adventure?
Tyler,
We
it's 12:30, so I'm not going to be hanging much longer.
The game's about to wrap up anyway. I just need to know what we're doing next. That way I can.
Before we head out, we should probably let the others
Give-
know what we're going and a
Aye.
basic rundown of our plan. Just to help speed things along, one thing I wanted to check on was one of the things I had mentioned earlier during the week that we had been here. Did I learn any information about locations of the other two artifacts?
You know that. What are the last two?
Cloak and the rod.
The cloak and the rod. Okay. You know that the rod is in a temple somewhere.
Okay.
That's all you know about it. You're not sure where the temple is or any of that. And you know the cloak is way off in another city, possibly. Excuse me, and possibly owned by someone else.
Okay. So
So, now that you guys have exchanged all your information, you all go up to the upper library, fill in Cairo about what is going on, what you're about to do. He wishes you all well. And once you have gathered all your things, made all your preparations, you all head outside of the manor itself, and you're on the grounds, as Caro had instructed you on the use of the. And you step into the small magic circle that is inscribed on the ground. It's essentially a teleportation pad.
okay.
Once you're all ready, you activate your rings. And where is it you're going first?
Probably the
Island.
island with the temple.
Okay, so you're going to Idrin. Now, for those of you at home, one thing to know about this world. It is reversed, in a sense. The farther north or south you go, the hotter it gets. So the closer to the equator you are, the colder it gets. And as I have described, this temple is on a continent that is almost at the pole. When you arrive, everything you see around you is essentially desert. But off in the distance, you can see a slight glimmer of a building, the Temple of Cronus. This is where we are going to leave our adventure for now. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all at home for watching. We'll be back for the next session to see just how this meeting with a god goes. Until then, I have been your guide for the evening, the Haven Master. I wish you all a fond farewell, and may the dice be ever in your favor.
Bye.
Night.
Night, everyone.